Metabolizable energy is a decision tool assisting livestock producers in a more systematic approach to match energy requirements of livestock with the energy concentration that can be supplied by the pasture. It assists livestock producers in developing guidelines and rules for grazing strategies in order to enhance the desirable component of temperate perennial pastures, the one that we call deep-rooted, fertilizer responsive grasses plus persistent legumes. So far, there is little experimental evidence to indicate how different management systems can alter pasture component to accomplish the best match of nutrient requirements of the grazing animals with the ability of the pasture to supply the required nutrients, especially in grazing regions with variable climatic conditions. In this flow chart here, we have pasture supply and animal demand, which is being measured by the metabolizable energy. On this side here, we have pasture supply component, starting with a herbage growth rate in kilograms dry matter per hectare. Pasture growth rate grows daily. During favorable climatic conditions, when there is more rainfall, warmer conditions, the pasture grows very fast. It can be as high as 60 or 80 kilograms dry matter per day, but in winter seasons, when the temperatures are really low or during very dry seasons, pasture growth rate can be as low as 0 or negative. As pasture grows, it leads to green herbage mass in kilograms dry matter. And if the animals are not utilizing the green herbage mass, that pasture will turn into dead herbage mass. When you put your animals on the paddock, they will start selecting the palatable species. They will start selecting the green herbage. But if you have legumes as well, they'll start with the legumes. When the legumes run out, then they'll start grazing on green herbage. When green herbage runs out, then they'll start grazing on dead herbage mass. Same time, we advise the farmers that you don't want your pasture to be wasted. You need the feed to be utilized by the animals. Hence why we have this rule of thumb saying that you graze half and leave half. You don't want to go below the benchmark. So both the green herbage mass and dead herbage mass, they have their digestibility content, how high the quality or the nutritive value of the pasture. But if the dead herbage mass is not being utilized by the animals, it turns into decomposition of biota back into dry matter into the soil. So both green herbage and dead herbage mass, as I said, it has their digestibility content, which is the quality. And when it's being consumed by the animals, then it leads into metabolizable energy in the animal system. Whether you are keeping your animal for fleece production or you are keeping your animal for live weight, which is for meat production, but the ultimate product that we are interested in is the daily intake of that animal. That will determine the performance of the animal. I will just leave this flowchart for now and move into the equations. In these equations here, the first one, we have digestible dry matter, which is the DDM per kilograms dry matter. And it's being calculated based on the quality. Remember when I said the dry matter digestibility percentage multiplied by the green herbage. When you put your animals on the paddock, they don't graze everything on the pasture. Not all the green herbage that you offer them is digestible. So you need to calculate how much is the digestible dry matter of that green herbage, whether it's for green or for the dead, by multiplying the green herbage mass with the dry matter digestibility percentage. And the second equation is the dry sheep equivalent per hectare, calculated based on the number of animals that you put on the paddock, times the DSC rate, which is based on the physiological state of the animal. If the animals are pregnant, in the case of merino ewes, then they'll require more, their DSC rate will be higher. And when they're lactating, their DSC rate will also be higher, divided by the paddock size. That's how big the paddock is in hectares. The third equation is about the ME demand in megajoules ME per day. That's the nutrient requirements from the pasture by these animals, which is multiplied by the average live weight of the animal times by the standard ME demand of the weather times by the DSC rate of that particular animal divided by the live weight of the weather. The fourth equation is about the density of the pasture, or the concentration of the pasture, which is being multiplied by 0.17 of the dry matter digestibility percentage minus 2. The fifth equation, the final one, is about the intake in kilograms dry matter per head. And in this case, we are saying that we calculate the intake of the animal based on the NH content, or the ME content of the pasture, and the ME demand of the animal. So we calculate based is the ME demand of the animal, what the animals are requiring from the pasture, divided by the density of the pasture. Let's move down and see on this little exercise I have done here. We are assuming that we have 125 pregnant ewes with the average live weight of 45 kilos, and their dry sheep equivalent rate is 1.3, higher than that one of the weather, which is 1. Why? Because they are pregnant, some of them are carrying twins, and they are grazing on a pasture of 10 hectares, and the green herbage mass in that pasture is 1125 kilograms dry matter per hectare. We haven't taken into account the dead herbage mass. Like I say, sheep are selective. They'll start selecting the green herbage first. And this pasture has a dry matter digestibility content of 80%. It's highly digestible, it's nutritious. So this is the DSC standard I was talking about for the weather, 50 kilograms weather, with the DSC rate of 1.0, and the ME demand for this weather is 9.0 megajoules ME per day. How do we calculate this? Let's go down to the calculation. Now, with that green herbage mass that you're offering to the animals, which is 1125 kilograms dry matter per hectare, you are multiplying it by the dry matter digestibility percentage of 80, and that gives you that figure of 900 kilograms dry matter per hectare, which is the DDM. That's the digestible dry matter. That is what is digestible to the animal, because this 1125 is not all of it is digestible to the animal. So you need to know how much is the DDM of that 1125, which is 900 kilograms. The DSC dry sheep equivalent per hectare for these animals is 1125 based on the number of animals, which is 125. We multiply that by the DSC rate for that pregnant ewes, which is 1.3, divided by the size of the paddock. Now, the ME demand for these pregnant ewes, which is multiplied by 45 kilos, the average live weight for these pregnant ewes, by the standard ME demand for the weather, which is 9.0, multiplying by 1.3 the DSC rate for these pregnant ewes, and divided by the live weight of the weather, and it gives us this figure of 10.53 megajoules ME per day. That's what these pregnant ewes will require from this pasture. Now, the MD, the density of the pasture, calculating based on that equation of 0.17 times by the dry matter digestibility content of 80% minus 2.0, gives us 11.6 megajoules ME per kilograms dry matter. Now, how do we calculate the daily intake for these pregnant ewes based on the NH content of the pasture? We will have the ME demand of 10.53 for these ewes divided by the MD of 11.6, that's the NH content of the pasture, and it gives us the intake of 1.90, it gives us the intake of 0.91 kilograms dry matter per head per day. A little bit low intake. Why, you would ask, why these animals have low intake when we calculate based on the NH content of the pasture, while the digestibility is quite high. simple. Because the pasture is highly digestible, the animals are consuming less of highly digestible pasture, so they meet their nutrient requirement with low quantity of the pasture, because the pasture is highly nutritive. So they consume less, but they meet their nutrient requirements at lower intake, and they're able to produce more of the fleece, produce more of the meat. When we decide to calculate the intake based on the body weight of the animal, 3% body weight, it gives us the figure of 1.35 kilograms dry matter per head per day, which is higher than 0.91. In this case, it's not taking into account what the animals are getting out of the pasture. The limitation of this equation, when you calculate the intake, what mostly people will do, what the animals are eating, is not taking into account the quantity or the quality of the pasture. So the best thing with this ME that we are talking about, metabolizable energy, it actually telling you how much the pasture is nutritive, how much quality the pasture has, how much is the DDM of the pasture, and gives you the intake based on the nutritive content of the pasture. I think that's now for this exercise.
Okay.